My name is Quigg and I'm CEO of Activate Group Australia and Director of the Joe Berry Award. One of the things that's happening this year with the Joe Berry Award is that it's the 40th anniversary. But what a lot of people don't know is that Activate Group has in fact been going for longer than that, having started in 1983. In the last 5 or 6 years under the Activate banner, has been very, very busy in making sure that the industry has more than just the services that our members provide, but a lot more influence in terms of shaping the way that the industry performs. And by doing that, Activate is looking at things like communications with a regular update, and through the Activate Industry Report, which is put out twice a year and has become very, very popular as a well-published magazine, but mostly because it's providing information that is not coming through to the industry from other areas. Activate members, of course, are very, very busy in terms of their support and their supplying services to the industry, and they are in fact one of the biggest employers of people within the industry, primarily in terms of merchandising into stores and helping the stores in promotion and ranging and all of those sort of things that are essential within this industry. Activate has a strong connection with many parts of the industry, and many of the blue chip companies use Activate members for their services. Yeah, it's a good question as to what is the Joe Berry Award. It's morphed in itself quite considerably over its 40 years, or 39 years to date. 40 years just started. From being a fairly localised award in the Queensland industry into being the premier national award for young talent within the retail industry, not just within FMCG, etc. But it's become an important part of the industry because it's one of the few areas where the talent within organisations can be exposed right across the industry. When we use the word exposed, it has a lot of meaning in terms of the way that the individual who takes the chance to write an essay can be exposed internally to their own business. They can be exposed to other parts of the organisation in which they work. They can be exposed to the industry as a whole. But importantly, they get the chance to expose themselves to themselves when they actually find that courage to get in there, write an essay, make a submission, and find out what this can actually do for their own careers. The Joe Berry Award has actually had 2 halves now. It's 20 years under the Queensland grocery organisations and now 20 years under Activate, or coming up 20 years. And the difference primarily is taking it from a Queensland location, bringing it into technically a Sydney location, but making it national and making sure that everybody across the industry knows that they can be part of this particular award. The next stage of it, of course, is the development of it, not just for the individuals in terms of those that want to be contestants in the award, but to the people who have discovered it as something that they can sponsor, understanding that it delivers more than just a reward for an essay writer. It actually provides rewards for the industry as a whole. And very, very specifically at this stage, it's time for that to be considered as 2 separate things. On one half, you've got it from the point of view of the contestant. Where's your courage? Where's your career going? What are the decisions you can make? Are the topics of interest to me? Can I write 2,000 words? What am I going to get out of it if I do write 2,000 words? What's the reward at the end, and so on? And of course that can be measured and that can be seen because we've got all the past winners, we've got all of those other things that we can put in front of those people and say, this is what you get if you have the courage to go off ahead. But on the other side is from the point of view of the employers, not just the sponsor companies, who there are many, but also from the point of view of the whole industry, in that the Joe Berry allows you to find talent within your own organisation. So if you've got people who are doing a good job but you don't know much about them in terms of anything outside the role, if they take the courage, or they're motivated to have the courage to write an essay, you are getting research, you're watching this person learn more and more, you're bringing them forward in terms of their ability to present to the organisation in itself, you're watching the confidence of them grow, but in the end you're getting well-prepared research papers on topics that are relevant today. They're not just topics that were made up just so I can write an essay, but they're things that are relevant to today's marketplace. So the award is now going all the way together, of course, because you need both the contestant and the employer to be in this together, giving support in all directions that they can. But the rewards are not one direction. The reward is right out there. It's right across the whole industry, because everybody has a chance to learn from the research, from the exposure of talent, and from the fact that the industry has leadership coming through in the future. When we talk about this research proposition that comes through people writing essays, it's part of our process to make sure that when we're asking them to go and do research, we're giving them topics that are relevant to today's industry. So when you look at things like emerging markets, and we know that India is becoming one of the biggest potential producers of food products and retail products for industries, taking over some of the Chinese, for example, Chinese markets and so on. So that's an emerging market in terms of importing. Then we can look at it as an emerging market in emerging markets in terms of what can Australia be producing they can be exporting out. We then look at things like the health industry, where GLP-1 is coming into play and will become, or potentially become, a significant ingredient in food products and things over the coming years, and what effect that's going to have on the industry. This is where the research becomes so interesting from an employer's point of view, because nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. But if you've got a talented person or people who are going to put their minds to GLP-1 and they can come back with a series of research papers, wow, what a great advantage your organisation has in advance of it going out to be seen by the wider industry. Then we can look at things like the continuation of automation. Now, we've used automation before as a topic, but it changes all the time, and it has to come in as being something that continually is looked at in terms of the cost advantage it brings to the industry versus the future cost it actually puts onto the industry. So there's plenty of discussion that can go through there. The final thing we have that's been added in is the ability for people who don't find a topic that we've set to be of interest to be able to come to us with a topic that they think has relevance. And all we ask them to do in that situation is to make it relevant to the industry just the same way as the other topics would have done or will do. So it's important that anybody looking at it from sponsoring or supporting the award with their own internal employees look at it from that point of view of research and saying, you know what, we're going to get something here for nothing. All we're going to do is motivate and support. Activate have had 20 years now of looking at winners in the Joe Berry Award and watching that evolution, of those people into the industry. And most of them are still within the industry, which is the real bonus. I mean, that's the exciting part of it, that they're still there. One or two we lose along the way, but generally they're still going into important roles. So there are standouts in the fact of people like Graham, who is now an industry leader in Italy, based in Italy, with an international role. We've got other people who've moved out of their major organisations into minor organisations, but taken on either directors' roles, CEO roles, and they're now influencing the industry from their own perspective, but they're also taking that Joe Berry Award experience with them in the process of them then knowing that part of why they got there was their courage to go in and give the Joe Berry Award a shot. It's very, very difficult to pinpoint any individuals, and because we've got that mixture of them from the supplier side, from the data-based analyst side, and from the retailer sides, everybody has to be looked at fairly differently. But there are standouts, there's no question about that. Perhaps the follow-on to the question about who was the favourites in the award so far is more about who are those that are giving back already to the award. And since the alumni was set up, we've found there's been a very, very strong feedback, drawback, give back proposition going on amongst those people. And the big thing is that when we put the alumni forward to people who are entering the award as a source of support, of information, of motivation and so on, none of those alumni ever say no. They're all there, all ready to go. Yes, talk to me, let me help you, let me give you information and so on. The life of the Joe Berry Award will come through that alumni over that period of time. From the sponsor's point of view, the thing we've seen the most in the last perhaps 3 years has been the fact that those organisations are coming to us. They're coming to us wanting to to be part of the Joe Berry Award and to sponsor that award. Why are they doing that? Primarily because they're starting to understand that finding talent within your own business is a hell of a lot cheaper than going out and trying to find talent in somebody else's business. And if they're going to use the Joe Berry Award as part of any form of professional development within their business, then whatever the sponsorship cost, they're getting back 3 times in terms of the value that's received from supporting the Joe Berry Award, internally and of course externally. From the director's point of view, from Activate's side of it, obviously a lot of what we talk about and the things that we do revolve around the Joe Berry Award. But what it does is it also motivates Activate to get involved in other areas of the industry. And we are, as a board, currently having discussions with the AFGC, who we've been partnering with in talent search for quite a period of time, in ways that we can expand out and bring more value to the individuals through their Future Leader Forum, to the sponsors and the supporting companies through the connections that we've made, but also looking at ways we can expand each other's role within the industry by collaboration. It's probably the most difficult question that you can ask is, what advice would you give to anybody writing an essay? And you will see from the people that we've interviewed here already, they all kind of say the same thing, and that is, just do it. Be brave, just do it. I think there's a little more to it, or can be added to it from that point of view. And that is, don't look at it as a competition solely. Look at it as a career step. It's got to be in your head that you're not doing this just for the fact that there's a prize at the end. Got to do it on the basis of you are going to learn, you are going to be recognised, you're going to get exposure of yourself. You're going to go through those periods where you get really tired of trying to research and write an essay, and if you get to that point and you take the next step and keep going, the reward will come. Trust me, the reward will come, because you will be able to see within yourself that you have the ability to be better than you thought you were. The last carrot I'd like to put forward is to the executives of the industry, right across the industry, pharmacy, liquor, hardware, FMCG, grocery, whatever you want to do, is that there is an opportunity to sit in a room with 30 or so other people of your own peer group to judge this award. And we have people who come back year after year after year because they really, really enjoy and understand what the Joe Berry Award is about. But the only way you can get into that panel, to be on the room or in the room with those people, is to come in and sponsor this award. If you want to have the experience of Joe Berry, then get out your checkbook.